Payroll and superannuation made easy. So awesome, exciting time. You're ready to employ people, but you live in Australia. So what that means is we have to be really, really careful around our payroll and superannuation. I really want to stress superannuation just because there is no wiggle room in the law. It is extremely strict. It's probably one of the most strictest parts of being a business owner is to make sure that you always pay superannuation for any employees, even if you're only paying yourself a salary and no one else. You must pay it before the deadlines, and that will be changing. At present in 2026, you will have to pay super on the day that you pay your employees. So the payment date, it must be paid. Now with payroll, you need to get really good advice or just be really careful and around all the different awards and all the different rights that people have, because at the moment employees have more rights than business owners. So you're just going to get screwed. Like, you can go to jail for not paying people correctly. If you knowingly underpay someone, you go to jail now. As of the 1st of January 2025, you go to jail. So like, this is not a laughing matter. This isn't something like, oh yeah, I'll just pay him whatever, I'll pay this person cash. I can't stress to you enough that this is really serious, and just tread carefully when you pay people, because the current government, what they've done is it's not good for business owners if you get it wrong. With payroll though, once you do get all those things correct, make sure you have a proper employment contract in place. Get a lawyer to assist you with this, or get it written up, or get a template at least at a minimum from somewhere which stipulates all the terms of employment, but make sure that it does comply with the Fair Work regulations. Then what I recommend is only use payroll software, because you have to report pay information on the pay date to the government through what's called STP. We only recommend Xero. Yes, it costs more money than some of the other ones, but the other ones just suck. Use Xero, pay for the high subscription, get automatic super, which basically means when you run the super, it sends a code to your phone, and then it will direct debit that money out of your bank account. This is going to be super important when we have payday super. So the process will be is that you set up your employees, you get all their information, make sure you store that securely, especially because you get tax file numbers. So treat those with your life, because you don't want to lose their data. And then once you put that into your payroll system, you set up the employees, and when you pay them, just remember that when you pay them, you transfer the money to them. And then in the future, you'll have to run automatic super and pay the super out at the same time. And at that point in time, you also have to report all of that to the government through what's called single touch payroll, or STP reporting. And you want to send your employees a payslip. So that's why I recommend getting Xero, setting up all the payroll, use either their tutorials or get some training from us to then make sure that you get it all correct. Get HR advice, get legal advice if you need to, because you don't want to get this wrong. You can even call up Fair Work and ask them questions and all that to make sure that you're compliant and everything else with the pay rates, because it's not something that I can advise you on. So make sure that you just, one, set it all up correctly, because once it is set up correctly, it is very simple to run. The software also has tools where if you want people to submit timesheets, if you want them to put leave requests in, you can manage all that, calculate all their leave and everything else. So use good software to keep all your payroll processing and super obligations super simple and very streamlined, because if you get it wrong, just the penalties are just really ridiculous at the moment. So just be really, really careful. Now, the other thing I want to touch on with payroll is just be super careful. If you want to employ someone as a subcontractor, if they're a sole trader in Australia, you're basically screwed. I don't care what people say around, oh, but I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Oh, but what about this? Oh, I'll put in a contract that they're a contractor. It doesn't stand anymore. This has been sort of blown apart. Now, there are certain circumstances where you will be okay with it, and there's certain circumstances where as long as you pay the super for that contractor, you will be okay. But if you want to play it safe, because I can't give you the exact way, because you have to go through case law, and even the ATO removed their decision tool if they're a contractor or an employee anymore, because the decision tool, they reckon, wasn't whatever. It's all being ripped apart. So if you want to have someone who's a sole trader, just employ them directly under a salary, pay their PAYG, pay their super. If they are a contractor, make sure you comply with Fair Work and you pay their super is probably the most basic thing. And maybe in some rare circumstances, they might be a genuine contractor and you need to have a contract and satisfy all the legal requirements. if you don't want to pay their super. The best way possible though is to engage with contractors that are under a company. If you engage with a company, you'll be perfectly fine. If someone's a sole trader and they want to engage with you for whatever reason, tell them, go set up a company, because I don't want the risk in my name and in my company. Because if you go company to company, then you're fine. You're not going to worry about being undercharged, whatever else, because the rules apply to employees, but it doesn't apply to other companies and other business owners under a commercial arrangement. So tell someone who wants to work for you or contract for you, if you're not going to employ them directly, to set up a company and operate through that company.